His performance with integrity and being indispensable. And of course, his interesting experiences, his international experiences. Did you know that he held 4 different citizenships? And for that, we give you some international coffee.
All right.
And N is for nice. Who else but Govind? He is such a nice person. And for his numerous hidden and visible nuances, who has nurtured many in our office, and for his motto, which is to all faculty, never say no. You all know that, faculty. He never says no. Okay. And D is for his dedication and devotion over 2 decades of service. And for being a dinosaur, one of the last of the TED dinosaurs. We're not counting Mimi, she's already fossilized. There is a dinosaur game to keep you busy on your trips to India. Okay. And put them all together, they spell Golden, a person who means the world to us.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Thank you. Our next speaker will be Diana Wolf, who has a few words of wisdom about Mimi Worship.
I think she said, uh-oh. A toast to Mimi. I don't know why such a fuss was made when President Bush said, "Read my lips." We've been reading Mimi's lip messages for years. Smiling lips. Lips with teeth bared. Big lips. Small lips. You name it. You'd walk into Mimi's office and there they'd be. Pins, pillows, cutouts, posters, all colors, all shapes, all sizes. Mimi needed those lips because she had a lot to say. And when we listened, we learned a lot. She was quite an innovator. She dreamed up the intern program. This idea saved the Department of Teacher Education. Then she took a sabbatical while we figured out how to make it work. But she left us a couple of lip stamps to help us out. When she took that sabbatical and went to teach English at Markham Junior High School for a year, I had 2 overriding thoughts. One was, she's crazy, but very brave. The other one was, oh my God, how can we ever survive without Mimi? Well, it's now quite a few years later. I still think she was crazy and very, very, very brave. And I still think, oh my God, how are we ever going to survive without Mimi? Mimi's gotten to be such an expert at preparing schools for NCATE and CTC accreditations that I hear she's decided to write a how-to book called Out of the Jaws of NCATE from the Lips of a Survivor. I also hear that Mimi will be available for consultation when we go through it again in 3 more years. 3 more years. I can see it now. Mimi will ask, how do you go about documenting everything that we do around here? And Mimi says, read my lips. Which ones, we cry? The big, red, kissy ones? Or the small Mona Lisa smile ones? Neither, Mimi answers. The ones with the gritted teeth. Oh. As a former associate dean and department chair, Mimi got very good at delivering and delegating responsibility. Now, not everybody is good at this, but Mimi is an expert. Mimi's philosophy was, unless everybody is equally aggravated, nobody is happy. At the end, there were always a lot of very happy people around Mimi. At the end of a week, people would gather around and count the number of lip memos they'd collected. I once overheard a conversation that went something like this. One faculty member was complaining loudly. It's not fair. I only got 6 lips this week. Another one said, so what? I only got 4. And a third said, it's not the number that counts, it's the kind. The kisses are worth much more than the subtle smiles. And the first one said, I'll trade you 2 kisses for 3 subtle smiles and 1 with bare teeth. I didn't hear the end of this conversation because I had to go to a meeting requested by a memo with bare teeth. Now, you don't mess with that kind of a memo. Mimi was known at conferences and professional meetings all over the state. She was particularly valuable and treasured at Phi Delta Kappa, especially during the installation ceremonies. Her handling of the overhead presentation of the explanation of the crest became legendary. We never believed the stories that she chose to handle the overhead so that she would never have to publicly pronounce koinotrophia. We knew we could always read her lips. I mentioned before that Mimi was quite an innovator. Here are some of the policies that she instituted by memo over the years. Number 1, if you lose and gain the same 10 pounds more than 5 times in less than 5 years, you have to do 5 hours of extra advising each week at the local branch of Weight Watchers. I was told that this memo showed a pair of very blubbery lips dripping hot fudge sauce. Number 2, if your on-campus teaching hours exceeds your off-campus supervision hours, you have to watch a video of the Blackboard jungle and write a book report on Up the Down Staircase by Belle Kaufman to show that you are current and aware of all the aggravations that can occur in the local schools and classrooms. We hear that the lips on this memo show lots of teeth. And finally, if your resume cannot be scrunched into 2 pages, you must enroll in a workshop to learn how to change the fonts on your printer to get a smaller type. There is no truth to the rumor that the lips on this memo were sealed tightly in a smirk. Well, Mimi, all kidding aside, you've been a great friend and colleague, and you're going to be a hard act to follow for anybody. So now, Mimi, we'd like you to read our lips, because here's the last word. We're going to miss you, Mimi.
Next, I'd like to call Susan Prescott up here.
I just wanted to take a minute and share my first memory of Mimi. I feel like we go back as far as dirt. I don't know, it's been a long time. In summer of '74, I got a call from Dee Hansen, who said, well, they need someone to supervise student teachers at Dominguez. Why don't you come on over? I was teaching at the elementary school at UCLA at the time, and I said, well, sure, that sounds interesting. So I first met with John Hilton. I don't know how many of you remember John, kind of a laid-back department chair from the 70s. And he was busy in a meeting, and he said, well, why don't you just go talk to Mimi for a few minutes? So I went to talk to Mimi, who was heading up the secondary division of student teachers. And we talked a long time and immediately just knew we had something going and felt the same way about a lot of things, and I thought this could be a lot of fun. So we talked for about an hour, and then I met with John, and John said, okay, well, I'm going to put you in the elementary division because that's your background. And I said, can I be in secondary with Mimi? And he said, oh, okay. And I've been here ever since. We're going to miss all of it.
Very scientific.
Sue Gimmel, please come up.
Some of these people are some of the last that have been here longer than I. I hate having you make me so old and senior. I want to comment particularly on Govan, who I've known for the whole time he's been at Dominguez Hills. I knew him from across campus as the kind of person who was always helpful on the phone, something that's still very hard to find. And then I moved over to teacher education, and I'd been an administrator. I didn't know how to fill out those dumb forms when you've traveled. And it only took Govan 2 years to teach me how to do that. He's probably the best teacher in teacher education if he broke through that one. Govan's always been there for all of us. He really is dedicated to service of all the people he works with, the students, other staff, the faculty. You could always count on Govan to get something you needed in a hurry when you forgot to send the requisition in the required 2 weeks ahead. When I used to do 4 o'clock meetings, first for Mimi and then for Kathleen, I soon learned that I needed to clue Govan in because I'd be out supervising and dash into campus knowing I had 3 minutes to get from the 3rd floor to the 2nd floor and compose